Movies, a podcast where we give movies a second look, second chance, a second take, if you will. I am your host, Preston Jenkinson, and joining me as always is Jake Twito with the most expensive bottle of water I've ever seen.
Yeah, dude, what's up? Hey, you are what you eat. I'm eating a cracker.
He's eating a cracker. Today, the movie I think we both did not enjoy watching is called Knowing. It's our last Nic Cage movie.
R.I.P. Going down swinging and getting punched.
Yeah. Neither one of us had seen it, and
oddly enough, I didn't know people knew. I thought this was just a nothing movie, but today at work, I mentioned, I'm watching this movie. At work, we have a Teams group. Oddly enough, I haven't brought this up yet. It's called the Nic Cage Fan Club.
Okay.
It's just what our group's name is, and it's the most amazing thing ever. But today, I watched this in the background to start while I was working. I looked at my phone. There's a meme of Nic Cage in the Nic Cage Fan Club, and I'm watching Nic Cage on TV. And I was like, oh, this is just like this movie, a knowing of everything. But someone was like, knowing, ooh. Yeah, I remember that. And then same thing we kind of talked about last week. It's like that was around the era of Next as well.
Yeah, it was two movies that he did back to back where he saw the future, kind of.
Do you know that movie Next? That's actually based off a Philip C. Dick short story.
Okay.
Which I found that out last week.
I barely remember that movie, but I already think it's better than this movie.
Yeah, it is. It is. That one's not. Yeah. It's terrible, but not this.
Yeah.
Give me a synopsis of this turd, and I want to give you my synopsis after.
I will. MIT professor John Costler links a mysterious list of numbers from a time capsule to past and future disasters and sets out to prevent the ultimate catastrophe.
Nic Cage drinks way too much Elijah Craig and hallucinates the end of the world.
Yeah. He just as soon as he starts drinking, he starts looking at them numbers, and we'll get there.
Positive review, is there one?
There is one from our good friend Roger Ebert.
I figured.
Who gave it 100 on Metacritic. Knowing is among the best science fiction films I've seen. Frightening, suspenseful, intelligent, and when it needs to be, rather awesome. I think he watched something else and wrote down the wrong thing.
I think he got paid.
Yes. Joe Neumeyer from the New York Daily News said it's prophetic. It isn't prophetic, just pathetic.
Yeah, it's terrible.
But
Ian Hemsworth it's his debut.
He's in this movie?
Yeah. At the beginning, he's one of the students in his class. It's the first movie he's ever in.
Okay, yeah, because I saw his name in the credits, and I'm like, I haven't seen Liam Hemsworth yet. So
it's him and
So he played a kid.
Leslie Ann Mitchell is the other person, but she quit acting.
Honestly, I would too. But the director of this movie, I looked up what else he did. He did iRobot. Mm-hmm. He did A Crow. I can't remember what else he did.
It's Alex Proyas, right?
Yeah.
He did Gods of Egypt. I know that much.
Okay, well, yeah, that explains it.
Yeah. The writer for this, I think this is right. The guy that wrote this, one of the main people that wrote this, has a YouTube channel where he focuses on cooking and grilling.
Well, good.
Yeah. I'm going to say it up tight, though. The guy that composed the music is Marco Beltrami. Mm-hmm. Beltrami, I can't remember. I had the notes. I should probably look it up, make sure I'm saying it right. But that's the guy that did Scream, Night Watch, Dracula 2000, Resident Evil, Blade 2, Terminator 3, Alien versus Predator. He did iRobot as well, which is funny. 310 to Yuma, Live Free or Die Hard, Hurt Locker. Man, I shouldn't know this stuff, but whatever. Snowpiercer, A Good Day to Die Hard, World War Z, the Wolverine.
Some bad and good stuff then.
Yeah, but like he's done so much crap. And I'll say one good thing about this, that score was the perfect. It's in the wrong movie. Like, it's got the, like, there's a chase scene. We're going to have these really thematic things going. And I was like, man, this is great. But this movie sucks.
Yeah.
It's a waste.
Yeah, the last thing this guy did after directing Gods of Egypt was 4 short films.
Thought you were going to say kill himself, but.
No.
I mean, I hope not. But that's just where my brain was like, nope, he's done.
No. He has not made a lot of good stuff.
The cinematographer.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about how this whole thing was shot?
It was shot.
What really freaks me out is he's doing Furiosa.
Okay. But I think with George Miller...
300 Rise of an Empire.
Okay. I think with George Miller directing, he can be...
Yeah.
Told to get a good shot.
Well, I'm avoiding it as much as I can, but this piece of turd starts off in an elementary school where they're going to draw pictures to put inside of a time capsule.
Yeah.
I put something in a time capsule once.
What was it?
A bag of crap. I pooped in a bag and put it in a time capsule.
No, you didn't.
Oh, yes, baby. Oh, yes.
No, you didn't.
It's covered in paper mache, and inside that paper mache is a bag of poo.
No, you didn't.
That was a good day, Preston.
No, it wasn't because it never happened.
20 more years?
Yeah,
what's the math? Whatever. They do this, and this girl is losing it.
Her name is Lucinda, and she weird as hell.
Yeah, that girl freaked me out.
She's just writing numbers on this piece of paper. And a teacher gets pissed.
I knew nothing about this movie. Last week when I thought this was the Left Behind series.
It kind of is.
You told me a little bit about it, and I was like, okay, so it's a mathematician. No, this girl... Random girls writing stuff, which doesn't explain the ending of this movie at all.
Not at all.
No. They put her stuff in there. She's just in this closet, clawing at the door.
And for some reason, at the ceremony where they're burying the time capsule, they're singing "Little Light of Mine," and I was like, "What? That? Huh?"
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
But after the time capsule thing, they find her clawing at a door, and she has written more numbers on the door because she didn't get to finish her
masterpiece.
Yeah. So we jump forward to Nicolas Cage and his son in the backyard looking at it because Nic Cage plays like a what do you call the space
astrophysicist?
Astrophysicist.
He either is or his friend is, or they both are. I don't know.
Yeah. And he says, like, right now we're the only ones. We don't know if there's anyone else out there because his kid keeps asking him, like, are there other species out there? Are there other planets? Blah, 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 which kind of sets up the end of the stupid ending to this movie.
Which really awkwardly sets up, like, I immediately was like, okay, this is a dumb movie. And he's like, I'm not saying God. I'm talking about aliens. I'm talking about space. Your mom's dead.
Your mom is dead.
Whoa, this is a different kind of Nic Cage.
And then like it's terribly acted. Like it's his worst performance I've ever seen.
It's not. Yeah,
his delivery is not good.
Almost.
Yeah. He's like, then he like kind of walks it back. He's like, "Hey, if you want to believe that, it's okay," and blah blah blah. He's like,
Which
yeah,
you
just
find out later his dad's a preacher.
yeah,
So
in a very
more sense of, like, why are you randomly talking
in very clunky dialogue with his sister that is trying to give us some backstory, and some exposition. His son sleeps in an attic.
Dude, yeah, that's rad. I mean, I'm jealous.
I was like, why are you putting him all the way up there?
That house is cool, man. That's the only cool thing about this.
It looks like it's about to fall down, but yeah, it's a nice big house.
Let me mess it up.
Yeah. Ben Mendelsohn's in this.
Is that this guy?
Orson Krennic from Rogue One.
Yeah, okay.
Guy with the cape.
He also Batman? Am I thinking about a different person?
He was the he played the evil businessman in the third Dark Knight trilogy movie.
The guy that gets this done to him by Bane.
Yeah.
Puts the hand on him. You feel powerful.
You think you're powerful?
Yeah, I was shocked to see. There's a lot of people in this, actually, that I was like, whoa, what are
Rose
you doing
Byrne,
in this?
Who they do that stupid thing of she plays her mother in a picture, and then her daughter plays the younger version of her mother.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, I hate that in movies.
Yeah, that's okay.
So the next day at school, Malcolm, I think, is the kid's name. Or did I just pull that out of nowhere?
Yeah, it works. I'm cool with that.
Nic Cage's son goes to school the next day because it's the 50th anniversary of this time capsule going underground, and it's the day that they're going to take it out of the ground, and for some reason, every kid gets an envelope. And he just happens to draw the Lucinda whatever card, note, or whatever. And
now these aliens are these pedophiles are following him.
Yes, what they start out being like, as soon as he looks at it, he looks up, and then there's like a dude in a black trench coat and all black just staring at him from across the thing, and it's like nobody sees this.
Johnny Depp from Harry Potter, by the way.
It does kind of look like.
The whole time I'm like, be Johnny Depp, do it. For no reason at all.
Yeah.
But so the kid takes. Okay, the kid's got ear problems. I thought they were going to play into that.
They kind of do, because Nic Cage kind of explains to somebody later on. He's like, he's not deaf. He just hears things, and they're kind of setting up like, oh, he hears the whispers or whatever. Or they're trying to get to him, and then it finally like clicks in when he gets these numbers.
So he comes home. He's stolen that letter.
Yeah.
Nic Cage gets mad, looks at it. Nic Cage goes on a bender. I mean, like, I don't know if this is the scene or it's coming up where he pours a glass so full it overflows.
Yeah, because he's not paying attention.
I mean, I thought he was just into it. Sorry, I missed that part. I was like, dude, what an alcoholic.
No, like he's sitting there staring at these numbers, and then he just filled. And he's not going to. He didn't pour it out though. I'll tell you that.
Oh no, he poured it down.
And the ring that it makes on the paper just happens to outline a certain string of numbers, and it's
9/11
91101 2. What was the 290 226
2190?
However many people died in 9/11. And this is the point in the movie where I was like, okay.
I'm gonna make a comment. You're free to leave this as a joke, but I mean,
okay.
Tucker Carlson doesn't think 9/11 happened, so.
Well, Tucker Carlson is no longer employed, so.
I think it's Tucker Carlson. I don't know, a person in my life.
I don't care. They can come after me. Come after this tiny little podcast that said something about you. He probably would.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, God, like, you pick 9/11? Crazy. That's a big, bold choice, but sure. But
yeah,
the way he tries to cipher out the numbers?
Because
It makes no sense.
Literally,
He writes them up.
when you see it, it's just like a group of numbers. They're not spaced out in any sort of kind of way or anything. He's just randomly underlining and circling groups of numbers.
Well, I absolutely love that he goes and rips his whiteboard off the wall in his kitchen and writes all of them down.
Oh, he is completely drunk through this entire thing as well.
Yeah. And that's where I was like, okay, this movie's awesome. Actually, this is the best.
I was
and
like,
then,
if we get
like
drunk
this morning, oh God, ooh.
He's dropping other kids off at school. They should not be in the car with him.
That's right. That's the best.
Even if he's hungover, like he's like a 40, 50-year-old man at this point. Like he should be like extremely hungover.
Oh, that's just Nic Cage's power.
Unless he's just such a drunk that that's how he gets to sleep every night.
Also, he never sleeps in his bed this entire movie.
No, he I don't think he has a bedroom in that house. His wife is dead. That's the reason that he's a single parent. I think we forgot to mention, but I guess that's why he drinks as well.
I thought I missed a lot because when they are like, "Your mom's dead," I'm like, "Did I skip the beginning of this?" Because I did skip that intro where they would go through the credits. Because
it kind of the way it starts out with them is like, "Oh, it's Sunday night hot dogs," and I was like, "Oh, is he like a divorced dad?" But no, it's.
Boy, you can't like hot dogs unless you're divorced, Preston. What's wrong with you?
Well, I don't know. It's like seems like divorced dad behavior. I don't know.
Logan, I'm getting hot dogs. She's not even here. I'm just an insane person yelling down the steps.
Oh God. So the kid's playing in the yard a couple days after, and these, some more blonde-haired, black-dressed people stop and hand him a featureless Blackstone.
Yeah, that's some pedo stuff there, boy.
And I don't know if anyone has seen that video on Funhouse's channel where at Christmas and they get the featureless Blackstone, but it's pretty funny. That's what it made me think of.
I didn't even think. Now I am like, oh, why didn't I think of it? He figures all that out, and then he figures out there's 3 more events.
Yeah, because he discusses it with Ben Mendelsohn, and he's like, "Hey, you might be losing it, dude. Like you're trying to find something here that's maybe not here."
And then he forgets to pick his kid up and finds out, oh, the next numbers are GPS, and I'm at the place.
Which was the dumbest.
That whole plane crash.
It was terrible.
Was bonkers. It was so bad, but
I got a note here that it's not an episode of this podcast without mentioning Corridor Crew. I've watched too much of them. They may have. Like, I've watched too much of it because the whole time I'm like, well, that fire is fake. There's no illumination. There's no
I think they actually did it when they did the Last of Us episode. Because they talked about how good the plane crash was there versus here.
Yeah, because there was like, I'm sure there was effort put in, but it was just not. The fire was absolutely fake.
Nic Cage's character's reaction of, I just see their burning faces everywhere.
I see their burning faces.
He goes to sleep after that and forgets about it.
Well, no, he tries after the plane crashes, he tries to save a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Also, how do you get latitude and longitude? I've never seen a vehicle with latitude and longitude in the vehicle.
It's I've seen it. It's a separate GPS unit, like a standalone. I think my family may have had a Garmin once, and it had it. Or I'm just.
But it seemed like it was like part of the truck, though.
No, it's not. When you look at it, it's mounted on top.
Okay, and I mean he's a science guy, so like he would probably have that in his.
Yeah.
That makes sense. This guy starts to make huge leaps of logic and starts to very weird, like just not
When does
good.
when does he stalk down the girl? Well, does he stalk down the? Yeah, he stalks down. He calls and says, "I got to talk to all the janitors."
Yeah, like he
Then
goes and talks to the janitors. He goes and talks to the somehow the teacher from the beginning of the movie is still alive.
yeah, but she's got
And
dementia or
yeah,
Alzheimer's.
yeah, but somehow she's got to be. She was probably what 20, 30
Yeah, she's got to be in her like
at the
90s.
beginning of the movie, and she's like in her 80s or 90s. And it's like, ugh.
I'm trying to remember all the events that happen here because this is where the movie really takes off, and it's just a big mess.
His son start. I mean, and this kid's 9, so I'll cut him a break. But he's like, "Oh, you're acting strange. You won't let me watch TV. You won't let me go to a sleepover, and blah 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 blah. You're acting weird."
It's because we're all gonna die, Henry. His name's not Henry, but
I don't remember what his name is.
He goes to talk to the grandma and like uses the son to, I mean the mom, and uses his son. She freaks out, leaves. All of a sudden, he realizes the next thing is that a couple days in New York, him going to a phone booth, calling the FBI, and telling them there's going to be a terrorist attack at this location. That was wild.
Yeah, he stalks
going to it.
He stalks Lucinda's now daughter, who also has a daughter now, basically. And he like organizes a meeting. It's a very creepy behavior. Like this is that weird behavior I was talking to that he just immediately jumps to. It's like let me follow this single mother and her child. But yeah, like the crazy behavior, like calling the FBI and saying it's going to be at the corner of this street and this street, and then going to New York City, driving all the way there, and like shouting at cops saying you didn't block off the area.
He'd have been shot, dude. There is no freaking way. He just walks away from that too.
Pretty much.
I just love he's going to that. There's a lady and a baby, and he goes, "You need to get your baby off this now.
Get this baby off the train."
Who? This is the dumbest decision of it. Like this doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
How at this point his Ben Mendelsohn, his name's John Kostler or something, whatever, is like, "I believe you now," and then all of a sudden, Lucinda's daughter Diana believes him. Does she just come to his house and is like,
yeah, she's just like, after he comes back, without being arrested for anything, because, you know, he gets followed by the cops and he sees this suspicious guy on the train. He's like, "It's not me, it's him." After, like, they're trying to, and they just immediately go after that guy. I'm like, no, you stop the crazy guy on the train, and all these people get murdered in this train. It is a very over-the-top, dumb, another terrible-looking sequence. This train goes...
81 people died on that train, okay?
Yeah. This train just goes off the rails, like this movie, and just plows through this train station in almost comical fashion and wipe. It's like the end of Invincible. I don't know if you've seen that end of the first season of Invincible.
I've seen the end, but yeah, I giggled all the time.
It's
so it was bad.
It's bad. But yeah, she's waiting on his doorstep when he gets home.
Okay. Well, then they decide they need to go to her childhood home, where her mother was, and that's where that wasn't
her childhood home. That's where her mother got a trailer out in the woods, and that's where she died as well. But that's like after her dad divorced her and took her with him. That's where she went and got away from everybody and was trying to figure out these messages in her head.
They find Matthias Amirin's God's or Chariot's vision, up on the wall. It's her favorite picture that she stared at.
Yeah.
And I immediately went, solar flares. It's a sun. They're all going to burn. All right. And which later, like, the little girl's like, it's a sun, actually.
It's a sun, actually. He's just an unlikable guy. Like, to be the hero of this movie.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
Enjoyable. Not an enjoyable person.
And like the whole time they're in that whole time they're in the museum, I cringed to that whole thing.
Oh, that was so weird.
Because he's trying to convince her of this, and then he like grabs her when she leaves, and I'm like, ugh.
So what I really thought was going to happen was he's going to lose his lid, and nothing's going to be happening. And I was like, this is going to be a good movie. Yeah,
that would have honestly been better.
Yeah, but no. Instead, you have bullcrap of they realize the last numbers on her letter, those aren't 3s, those are 2 E's. And they see underneath the bed is everyone else.
Yeah.
Which, Preston...
And more featureless black stones.
There is other numbers. They're on the door. So...
Yeah.
They leave their kids in the car asleep, and blonde pedo Johnny Depp boys show up. So I really thought they were trying to do a 4 Horsemen of the Apocalypse there.
That's kind of what I thought it was too, but it's not.
Yeah.
There's like 5 of them.
I got to scoot back a little bit since we're talking about them.
Yeah.
The greatest scene in this entire movie. Nic Cage looks out the window and sees the blonde-haired boy at his house at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Grabs a baseball bat. He walks out of a door, walks all the way around his porch because there's no steps. And they show all this. Runs there, screams at him, hits a tree with the baseball bat, and goes, "You want some of this?" Pow! I watched that like 10 times. Logan was like, "Can you stop watching that?" I'm like, it's the funniest thing I've ever watched. But at this point, he's got a gun.
Yeah, he goes and buys a gun. And honestly, I was like, what the fuck are you going to do with a bat? And then he goes and buys a gun. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, good.
First logical decision you've made.
He corners the guy and he turns around and opens his mouth and the light happens.
Well, no, that's after like
back where we were. Yeah, but immediately I went, "Oh, this is Aliens. This movie sucks."
Yeah.
This is so stupid.
So they figure out that it is going to be a solar flare somehow. Because I think there's been reports on the news through the whole movie, like, hey, scientists expect like this solar flare.
The girl is coloring in the engraving and tells him it's a sun, and then he connects the dots of he had some kind of like simulation of what the solar flare should do, and he was like, it can't be right. And they were right. It's going to hose them all.
Yeah.
So then they all decide it's the end of the world. Maybe they can get underground. And that dumb woman's like, I used to play in a cave as a kid. We could go there.
Let's go to the cave.
There's caves everywhere.
Yeah. That's not underground.
What are you doing? Well, and then Nic Cage realizes, wait, there's more. And he goes to the high school, takes the door.
Yeah, somehow that door still exists.
And it's been painted over several times.
Several times.
I can track that some. I mean, a little bit. But he heats it up, peels it, gets the exact number, and it's...
How does he know that's the door, though?
It's... I don't know how he knows the exact one, but the lady that had Alzheimer's, the teacher, tells him we caught her clawing numbers into the door of the closet under the gym.
Okay.
So he knows that's where she was.
All right.
This movie gets real bonkers here, buddy. This is where this thing really gets even worse. The woman's like, he's over there peeling the door off. He's like, I gotta figure this out.
Heat gun and peeling the paint.
She goes rogue, man.
She's like,
she leaves.
Okay, we're all crazy, but this motherfucker is crazy.
Yeah. It went wild.
She takes his son.
Yeah, I was like, oh God, this is getting real wild. Y'all are all crazy.
This is where I started like, okay, this is getting a little better. We got two crazies. And also before all this, there's a thing like the mother had predicted the death of Diana, the daughter, who is the mother of this other little girl. If we're tracking. Lucinda's daughter. Lucinda predicted
her death?
Her daughter's death, yeah.
Okay. I didn't... That all went right over my head then.
Yeah, that was like a big thing.
Oh, and Nic Cage is really involved in this because the fire that his wife died in was also a part.
Was one of the tragedies. On the list.
I was trying to remember, like, why did he get obsessed? And
that's why he becomes obsessed, because he feels like he can stop these other ones. But that's still stupid.
She runs away with his kid, goes to a gas station,
calls him
and says, like, I had to go. Find out the threat's real. Pedo boys steal the car.
They steal the car and take the kids.
With the kids. She steals some other dude's Jeep and crashes. She dies.
And she dies at midnight on October 19th, like her mom said she would.
Okay, well, that makes a lot more sense why they made a deal of that. I was like, what is this? Yeah, she's dead. Who cares? But
yeah, that's why they made a big deal out of that whole thing.
But in the meantime, Crazy Boy goes to the spot. Kids are there. The kid walks out with a bunny rabbit. And he's like, this is my friend.
And
he said I could have him.
But the thing that Nicolas Cage discovers on the door is it's coordinates that are close to that trailer that was out in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
That's why he was why he ends up where he ends up in the movie. Because he tells her, like, we need to go to these coordinates to see what it is. That's where we'll be safe.
This movie sucks. And then, they're aliens. And the kids can talk to them.
Yeah, they call them the whisper people.
The kid having to understand your dad's not coming with you.
Yeah.
It was just so stupid, man.
It was. 'Cause these aliens, or we'll get into what they are in a little bit, but they
put them on the ark.
Yeah, they whisper to these kids like, "Hey, only the chosen can, only the people that hurt us can come." And it just happened to be a little boy and a little girl.
Is this all supposed to be a Christian metaphor?
It's a very terribly done loose one.
That's what I'm like. Yeah, this wasn't even like a clever one.
Yeah, so they take these kids, and these aliens turn into beings of light with I don't know if you saw this, but very loosely floating wing-like auras around them.
Yeah,
just a shitty metaphor for who are these aliens? Where did they come from? I don't know. This seems like it was tagged on at the end. It really does. It seems like it was written into in the script last minute. I think this was supposed to be a disaster movie.
I
really do.
I mean, like, this is where it was like, this is awful. And the movie has like 15 minutes left.
Yeah, a good bit.
So he's gonna go visit his dad and reconcile with him.
He's gonna reconcile with his family with only like a few minutes left to live. Because it, like, towards the end, it seems like, okay, so these aliens, they take these kids off planet somewhere else, and Nicolas Cage falls asleep in the middle of the woods for some reason.
They black him out.
Oh, okay.
They do it early. When he tries to shoot the one in the gun and it opens his mouth and he sees the light. It kind of happens there. But I think it's like I don't know. He's probably just drunk, dude. He probably passed out.
He probably is drunk again. And he wakes up And he left the door open on both the cars were left open and the lights are still on. Like, battery's not dead at all. It's still drivable. It's wild to me. So he starts driving back to his parents' house, I guess, because that's where he ends up. And it kind of looks like nothing's about to happen. I thought that's where it was going. It was like, well, the kids got out, so like, it must have been the goal. But
I really, this is going to make me sound like a sick individual. I really thought that this is where we find out Nic Cage is crazy, and he just gave his kids to some strangers. And hey, sport jokes on me. No, they all blow up.
Yeah, he goes to his parents' house and he's like, this is the end. And his dad, who's a preacher, is like, it's, if it's my time, it's my time. It's no big deal. And he's like, it's going to happen. And then I actually thought like, hey, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. But then cuts to outside and then.
And then fade to this beautiful planet.
Yeah.
With a big giant tree of life.
What are these? Okay. So they dropped the two children off on this planet. Supposed to be like an Adam and Eve metaphor.
Yeah, but then there's like 50 other Adam and Eves getting dropped off, it looks like.
I
That's
guess.
called what's that?
And you have to look. And you have to assume like they're children because Lucinda was a child when she started hearing things. So like they're just picking up kids from different planets. How are they supposed to populate this planet?
Bunnies.
And whoever thought like that imagery of the tree was like supposed to be like this profound, like read that story of Adam and Eve. That tree is not a good thing.
Yeah, what's going to happen is that girl's going to go eat some apple, and then they're going to not like being naked no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
this
just
is
2.2. It's just a terrible attempt at like a profound metaphor. But yeah, it's a 1, just a 1 for me.
I think it's only a 2.2 and not lower because there were some moments where I went, yeah, Nic Cage.
But like, this, I think it was the direction because like it seemed like Nic Cage was reading his lines half the time. Like his delivery was just not good.
No, it was not his not his best by a long shot.
Yeah. I don't know if it was the writing or if it was the director but there was not a lot of good stuff about this movie.
So here's where I got weird with some notes.
Okay.
An anagram of Lucinda Embry is badly numeric.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's got to be some coincidences there, man, okay?
If you say so.
The plane crash was one continuous shot. And my notes were,
okay,
that's awesome. What a waste of time that was.
What a waste of time and effort.
Yeah, then I have some random, I think you already touched on, some random garbage about like, what is this tree of life? What is this piece of crap? Yeah, this is not good.
The predicament of being able to see the future disaster and fearing no one will believe you is called the Cassandra complex, after a Greek myth. Okay. The school in the movie is William Dawes Elementary. William Dawes was one of the writers who, like Paul Revere, warned the Minutemen the British troops were coming just as a child at his namesake school was trying to warn people what was coming. What?
I did look this up too. I said, this looks like a movie where someone else is supposed to direct it.
Yeah.
And then someone else picked it up last second. The guy that wrote Donnie Darko was supposed to write and direct this.
Okay.
So I could see where the concept would have gone with that.
I still feel like this was a disaster movie that someone dragged aliens and prophecy.
I think it was pitched as a heavier alien prophecy thing, and they tried to make it more likable by spinning in disaster.
Yeah.
It was terrible, regardless. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Rose Byrne is seen as the photograph of her dead mother in Lucinda's obituary. Yeah, that's why I hate movies that do that. Like, they have a relative that died earlier off screen or on screen, and it's like the same actor. It's like, no, that's not how relatives work.
There's some kind of like Mayan calendar thing with this too, or is that?
No, that was a movie called 2012 with John Cusack.
Sorry, that's what I'm looking for. Is it 2012 or 2009, like the movie predicts?
And that movie came out in 2012.
Still here, guys. Bunch of liars.
That's a dumb movie.
Oh, there was a Wilhelm scream.
Yes, I just saw that. It's like Wilhelm screamed heard during the subway crash. Okay.
I figured it's got to be the subway.
It's been in every movie ever. Good job. So that's knowing.
You know what? I'll be knowing I'm not watching it again.
Yeah. Thank God I never have to.
Got him.
I thought that it might have been like just a it's not like a, fun Nicolas Cage bad movie. It's just
bad. Yeah, they'll lose a taste in your mouth. But hey, it doesn't leave a taste in your mouth?
What
you been watching, man?
I've been watching Star Wars Rebels. Been watching a lot of Star Wars stuff recently.
Still need to pick it up. I intended to start Rebels and then watch some of Andor, but I didn't do either.
I'm also reading the first book in the Thrawn trilogy. I might have already mentioned that, and
I should read those.
Jedi Survivor, it's really good.
How I don't want to spoil anything. But they were spoiled for me.
Okay. Yeah, don't spoil it for me.
Okay. I mean, like, have you seen any people in it?
I saw a thing on the internet today that was like, this is like not in the main story, but it's like an optional side quest that you meet Boba Fett.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's what I saw. I think we probably saw the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, if it's optional, I'll take a look at it.
Well, that makes me feel better because I was like, oh, crap, I'm going to play these games one day.
They got Tamara Morrison to voice him, so good for them.
Yeah, I was shocked because I watched the video of it all. I was like, oh, good for them. I will say that, so Legend of Zelda comes out next week, and it leaked today.
Ooh.
I'm just trying not to look on the internet for a week.
Yeah. That happened when Red Dead Redemption 2 came out, like a couple days before, like a bunch of gameplay got leaked. It was the first time I saw Russian YouTube. That was wild.
Guardians comes out tomorrow. I'm going to go see it.
I'm going to see it Friday.
I think every time we talk, especially the podcast, I'm like, I'm done with superhero movies. I am after this.
This is the only one I'm seeing this year.
I'm so excited. I mean, like, I know I'm going to probably cry.
But I feel like I have to see The Flash in the theater.
I don't know.
I'm torn about it because I don't want to give Ezra Miller any money if they're going to get anything out of this at all.
I don't know.
But
I mean, definitely won't see it in the theaters. I'll watch it when it releases.
I'll probably wait for it to come out. But I'm going to see Transformers. I know that.
Yeah, that looks. I hate saying this. It actually looks like a good Transformers movie.
It does. Like June for me is probably Transformers and Indiana Jones.
Oh, Indiana Jones.
And then July is Mission Impossible and Oppenheimer.
God, I forget Oppenheimer's coming out.
Yeah, like I keep forgetting
excited.
That every day too, and I was like, oh yeah, it's coming out in July.
I guess I'm a nerd. I like the physicists that made the atom bomb. Like, I love reading about those guys.
And
it's weird. I'm like, oh, I know a Christopher Nolan story while I'm watching it. This is going to be odd.
Yeah.
But
we might have to do Tenet for when that movie's about to come out.
Yeah, I'm cool. I'd love to watch that one again. I've
seen it
I'm
several
one
times
of the
after.
select that loved it.
Yeah, it's one of his best in my opinion.
You want to make an early Guardians of the Galaxy prediction?
Rocket and Drax are dead.
Yeah, definitely. I think Quill's dead too.
Chris Pratt said that he would do more Star-Lord if asked. So I'm pretty sure they
Drax
left that.
Definitely. I mean, his contract's gone. Batista's. Yeah.
Batista is the best wrestler turned actor.
I think he's the. Well, actually, what have I been watching? I just watched They Live again.
What is that?
It's a John Carpenter movie. It's probably, hey, you know what? To round out the entire podcast, the quote I said at the beginning is from that movie.
Okay.
If you've probably seen clips or stuff from it, but basically, it's John Carpenter, so it's crazy. But Rowdy Piper is the main.
Rowdy Piper.
I think it had like the most expensive or the longest practical fight scene ever as well.
Okay.
For a long time. But he's a homeless guy or a drifter, and he finds a pair of sunglasses that when he puts them on, he can see the real world. And there's aliens and like billboards,
so, like,
the
free
real
guy.
meaning. Yeah, but boy, man, the movie's crazy.
Okay.
You need to. I'm gonna send you a clip. I'll send you the bubblegum clip. It's primo 80s movie.
You might have sent this to me before. I think we might have talked about this before.
I don't know. I love John Carpenter. He's so weird. All of his stuff is.
Yeah.
I pulled up my YouTube, my search history. The first thing I see is fart, brah, Optimus Prime. Just gonna.
The hell are you watching on YouTube?
Oh, dude, it's great. It's great.
Well, that concludes this week. If you have a suggestion for a movie we should do, you can send that to secondtakemoviespod@gmail.com. You can follow us on social media at Second Take Movies on Instagram. That's the only social media we have. We also have a YouTube.
Yeah.
Which the views that I think Blade Trinity has 11,000 views. I don't know how. There's no video on it.
Wait, what? Hold on.
If you go look, like Blade Trinity has like 11,000 views.
Can we quit our jobs with those numbers?
But everything else has like small little views, and it's like it doesn't make sense.
Of course, I have to log in now for some reason. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty ballin', but
there's no video portion on that thing. It's just audio. It's like when I was just throwing the audio up on YouTube just to do it, just to have it somewhere else. That's bonkers.
Puzzling.
But anyway.
Sweet. Yeah, we're quitting our jobs, dude.
We'll have another movie next week. We don't know yet. So for Jake, we'll see you next week.